Saint Maximilian Kolbe was born on the 8th of January in 1894 at Stuńska Wola, Poland. He died on August 14, 1941, in an Auschwitz concentration camp, Poland. He was canonized on the 10th of October in 1982, Rome, Italy by Pope John Paul II. Saint Maximilian is the patron saint of 20th century, pro-life movement, drug addiction, drug addicts, families, amateur radio. Maximilian was born with the name Rajmund Kolbe in the small village of Stuńska Wola in the Russian part of partitioned Poland. The Kolbes were a devout and patriotic working-class family. Initially he considered joining the military, but at age 13, he and his elder brother Francis decided to join the conventual Franciscans. Upon entering the novitiate in 1910, Rajmund was given the habit and the new name of Maximilian Maria. In 1906, the young Kolbe had a vision of the Virgin Mary, in which she offered him a white crown and a red crown, and asked which he would accept. Understanding the white to represent a life of purity, and the red to represent martyrdom, he said he would accept them both. Even before his ordination, he had founded the Knights of the Immaculata, an evangelization movement that was to bring people closer to God. He hoped to convert sinners and enemies of the Church through the intercession of the Virgin Mary. By 1927, he was already building his City of the Immaculata at Niepokalano, near Warsaw. It was here that he mobilized his Franciscan friars and employed the tools of the modern age to spread his message. He established a formidable printing enterprise, distributing millions of copies of his Rycer's Niepokalange, Night of the Immaculata, and broadcasting radio programs. Niepokalano became a spiritual beacon for Poland, but Maximilian did not want his message to be limited to his homeland. Indeed, he hoped to promote the veneration of the Immaculate Virgin Mary throughout the world. In the early 1930s, he expanded his mission to Japan, where he established a newspaper, a monastery, and a seminary. But as clouds gathered across the world, foreshadowing the horror of the Second World War, Friar Maximilian returned to Poland. When the war broke out in 1939, Niepokalano became a refuge for those escaping Nazi persecution. Nobody was turned away. Almost 2,000 Jews were hidden in the Franciscan friary. The leader of the Knights of the Immaculata would pay the ultimate sacrifice for his kindness. In early 1941, Maximilian was arrested by the Gestapo and was eventually transferred to Auschwitz, where he was labeled a political prisoner and assigned number 16670. In the concentration camp life, he remained concerned for the spiritual and physical welfare of his fellow prisoners. Then, one summer day in 1941, a prisoner managed to escape, and so the commander decided to retaliate. During the day's roll call, he randomly selected 10 men who would be put to death through starvation. One of these 10 was a Polish army sergeant named Franciszek Gajaniczek, a man with a young family. It was then that Maximilian stepped forward and volunteered to replace him. The German commandant was so surprised by the action of the Franciscan priest that he allowed Maximilian to switch places with the condemned man. The 10 were stripped of their clothes and locked in a dark bunker. Even in those last days, Maximilian preached that hate is destructive, love alone is creative. The lack of food and water could break neither his spirit nor his body, therefore the Nazis ultimately administered a lethal injection of carbolic acid. Years later, during the first journey to his homeland, John Paul II would visit Maximilian's death cell, declaring him the patron of our difficult century.
Please subscribe to Catholic News World's YouTube channel. Thanks and God bless.